Welcome to Edu-Champs. Today I will be introducing you to HTML. HTML is hypertext markup language, and this HTML is used to create web pages. Now, how can HTML be used to create web pages? Let me quickly bring out a website to explain how HTML creates web pages. So here is the website, a quiz website that I'm working on. Now this page is created using HTML. As you can see, this is the HTML, and the reason why it's looking beautiful is not because of the HTML, it's because of the CSS. CSS is cascading style sheet and is used to style our HTML pages. So now this is our HTML, and you can see I have different pages here. It's HTML that I use to create these pages. If we come here to look at the files, you will see boilerplate.html, programming.html, index.html. Everything is here. So HTML is used to create web pages. So now let's quickly open a different page. Now this is a programming quiz page. Now this page is created with HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and we can see this text saying what is HTML. So now I want you guys to answer this question. Is HTML hypertext markup language, hypertext markup language, hyperterminal mark language, or hypertext markup language? I want you to give this a try. I'll pause this video, answer this question in the comment section. Let me see if you get it correctly. Okay, so now that we know that HTML can be used to create web pages, what else can HTML do? HTML also designs the structure of your website. But how does HTML design the structure of your websites? Now you see, the website that we are building is the HTML that is the main thing there. It's the HTML that would place your heading where it's supposed to be. It's the HTML that will place your navbar where it is supposed to be. That is the structure, how you want the website to be. What your CSS and JavaScript is doing is just maybe styling it or adding a little bit of function to it, like a click function or all that. But HTML is a basic thing that tells your browser where to place this element and what should appear there. That's why I say you can use it to design the structure of your website. Now, what are the processes involved in creating a HTML file? First of all, you will need to open your text editor. You need a text editor. We're going to be using different kind of text editor. A text editor is something that you can edit text in, a .text file, .html file, and other kinds of file. So the most popular text editor we have is Notepad. You can access Notepad in your laptop. You can try to use it, and I'll be doing a video on how to use Notepad to write HTML codes. So just relax and wait for that video, and you see, using Notepad is quite stressful, but at least you wouldn't have to download any other app if you want to use Notepad. But what are the other popular apps that we can use? For those of you using laptop, you can use Visual Studio Code. So this is Visual Studio Code, and this is SPCK editor. You can use it for your Android phone and you can use it for your iPhone. This is TrebeEdit. It's available only for Android phones. The next step is for you to write your HTML code. HTML code are in forms of tags. So we have an opening tag and a closing tag. So the opening tag does not have a forward slash, but the closing tag have a forward slash. So you have to take note of it. And in between the opening and the closing tag, you have what you want to be displayed in your browser. Apart from the heading one, we also have other headings. We have 6 headings in HTML. Next step is to save the file with a .html extension. For those of you using Notepad to code, you would have to save it with .html extension. Even when you are using Visual Studio Code or any text editor, you need to save it with .html. In most cases, when you are using these text editors, you would have to save it with .html before you can write HTML code. But in the case of Notepad, you can start writing your code. Then when you want to save the file, you save it with .html extension. Now, index.html. You must have probably seen this a lot in most websites. So index.html is like your own page. The first page that the website would open is your index.html. So let's take, for example, we have different pages. We have quiz page, we have Edu-Champs page, and there is an index.html page. When you open the browser will first of all run that index.html page. From the index.html page, you should be able to access your other pages that you have created using HTML. The next is for you to run your HTML file in your browser. If you run this our code that we place in Edu1, it will look like this. Hello world. The reason why it's like this and you are not seeing the tag is because the browser interprets it as an HTML file and outputs what is in between the tags and not the tags itself. The tags are not outputted in your browser, just the text that you put there. During the course of this lesson, we'll be learning about other HTML tags, but I would want you to go and do it as a challenge. Go and browse about other HTML tags and drop them in the comment section. Now let's talk about the HTML boilerplate. The HTML boilerplate is the basic structure of any HTML document. If you are going to be working on any HTML document, you would have to start with this boilerplate. The boilerplate have to be there. I would show you how you'll be able to open this boilerplate from your text editor without more stress. It's not really compulsory you cram all of this. There's a specific part of it that is needed in any HTML document that you are going to create. But this is a complete HTML boilerplate. So how can we get this HTML boilerplate from our Visual Studio Code without us writing it all out again? This is a plain environment now, and I'm going to bring out the HTML boilerplate. For us to do that, we'll need to use the exclamation mark, then press enter, and there we have it. No stress, no need of cramming anything. The boilerplate is already here. So since we're already here, I think we should just try out the heading tags we talked about and see the differences between the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and so on. So all your HTML codes, or majority of your HTML codes rather, will be written inside the body tag. So we're in our body tag, so bring out our heading 1. You could just type heading 1 and press enter, and it will form into a tag. So now let's write hello world and see what happens. Okay, let's start this thing with live server. Good. So now we'll see hello world. Now let's notice the difference when I use a heading 2 and write the same hello world. You notice it became smaller. The more the heading number, the smaller the text would become. So if you continue writing hello world with H3, H4, H5 and H6, you see that the text will continue becoming smaller. You should pay close attention to these boilerplates. I will be explaining the boilerplate in detail in our next lesson. So for all of that and more, see you in the next lesson.